Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Christmas edition of Under the Floorboards, where we laugh at the creatures that go bump in the night. I am your host, John, joined as always by my beautiful co-host, Eric. How are you this week?
Fabulous. Tis the season.
Tis the season, and ringing in the bells with us this year, we have a very special guest, Miss Molly Souza. How are you? Give it up.
I'm great. Seasonal depression isn't affecting me at all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I made a reel about Twilight the other day, and that gun looked a little bit tastier and tastier. And at first I thought it was the Twilight thing, and then I was like, all right, it's dark outside and it's 3 p.m.
Yeah. You could have just got like, I made a reel about Twilight, and I would have gotten like, you're in a bad place. Like
Okay. He's learning way too much about himself. He's way too angsty. Well, you guys know Molly from the up and coming Late Checkout.
Yep.
Also Grind next year.
Yep.
Slash Lorette Party.
Yep.
Which is available on Tubi. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out as well.
I still need to see Slash Lorette Party. I apologize.
I thought you watched it with me.
No, I didn't watch it with you.
How high was I?
Very.
I swear, because I've watched it like 3 times.
We were watching Attack on Titan, not Slash Lorette Party.
So Molly, give us a little bit of background before we get into your pick for this week. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I just got out of jail. No, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm an artist. I just like to do things, including murder in horror movies. I can't admit to anything else legally. My lawyer told me not to. I don't know. I do a little bit of everything. I just love being involved in the horror community, especially. So you've mentioned a couple of things I've done recently. I co-wrote and acted in Late Checkout. I acted in upcoming like crime, hillbilly, noir, thriller, The House Among the Trees, the Slash Lorette Party, like a lot of fun, different things. And I paint terribly, which if you're watching this, you can suffer through visually behind me.
Yeah. I think that looks better than my fake background and like the space between my fucking like headphones and shit. So yeah.
I stand by your Barb background, her dick sucking black belt, her Besides wood paneling. Sorry, Eric. You're included.
That's fine. This is just what his kitchen actually looks like. So
I'm so excited for us to have the fucking studio built.
I was going to say.
We're not far off. We're not far off.
I'm not married to any of this, so.
But anyways, 'tis the season. So Molly, your pick this year was a godsend compared to last year. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your pick?
Oh my gosh. So Black Christmas, 1974, probably one of the first maybe like 10 slasher movies, and is like a slasher holiday movie, which is like a fun little mix up there. Famously one of Steve Martin's favorite movies, if you've ever heard that bit. I love anything that involves, it's like the trifecta. Like I wanna squirm and be so uncomfortable. I want to rip all my skin off. I want to laugh a little bit, and maybe just maybe I want to cry. I want to feel those emotions, baby. And I feel like Black Christmas kind of has all of those. I've horrified all of my family members at holiday parties with this, and I can't wait to horrify everyone else with it too.
And
that was beautifully put.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you write that down or was that just improv?
She's a professional.
I was going to say, holy shit.
Yeah, this is definitely a film that famously directed by Bob Clark, which is my favorite.
Awesome.
It's my favorite.
Awesome.
That's my favorite piece of horror trivia ever, is the fact that this guy felt so fucking bad about giving people nightmares for Christmas that he had to make a Christmas story.
He made arguably the best Christmas movie of all time. In response,
he made the best Christmas movie of all time twice.
True. Very true.
So like, do we just kind of like sit around I've heard of people doing like Halloween trees and like horror themed Christmas trees and shit like that. Is that something you've ever taken part in? Or like, do you know what would you put at the top of your tree if that was the case?
of a Halloween tree,
I've heard
probably a shrunken head. But I do agree that, like, why can't I just have a festive tree in my house at all times? Why is that like a Yuletide thing? Right now, I don't know if this is going to give everyone motion sickness. It has eyeballs on it. It is kind of be like a horror themed. There's a giant peacock and lots of eyeball ornaments. But yeah, I mean, why can't you have a festive tree and drunk relatives in your house like all the time?
Right.
I fucking love that. So, one thing we do a lot on our show, Molly, is we talk about the very first time we watched this, like just kind of like what that felt like the very first time that you cracked open Black Christmas. Do you remember what that was like for you?
I do. I love horror movies now, because I can kind of like microdose terror in the comfort of my own home. Like you get that like overwhelming sense of dread, but you're fine. But the first time I saw this, it was with my mother, one of my favorite psychopaths. And she introduced it to me, and I wanted to fucking die. Like the phone calls, the like, you little piggy cunt, like that, it just, I wanted to rid myself of my skin and never watch anything ever again. Which of course made it one of my favorite movies ever that I watch every year on Christmas, usually. How it ended up that way. But yeah, I definitely remember it being super horrifying, which is interesting because I'm from the era of like showing it all,
Mhm.
of like the Saw movies and
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think like Black Christmas kind of gets that, the effectiveness, the dread, the mystery, without actually, I mean, it shows you some stuff, but there's a lot of it that's like left up to your imagination.
Hmm.
And my mind is probably one of the top 10 most horrifying places to be on TripAdvisor and Yelp. it, it works for me on a bunch of different levels. It's just stayed with me.
You just can't take Yelp personally because it'd be like, yeah, it was a horrifying experience because the parking was shit.
Right.
1 star.
I rate this product 1 out of 5 because it didn't arrive.
Wife divorced me after using this. You're like, that has nothing to do with it, but okay.
So Eric, was this your first time watching
Yeah,
this?
this was my first. I had the misfortune of seeing the other one. So this is my first time watching the what I'm going to kind of like stand on it on this one is this is the correct version of this movie in my opinion. I feel like that may be a little purist to say that and instantaneously a little bit maybe divisive. That may be a hot take. I don't know. I just disagree. And this was kind of one of those things for me where you see where movies like Halloween that clearly like took a lot of inspiration from this movie. That's what Wikipedia said anyway. All of the shit is there for like a classic horror slasher kind of 70s vibe. Like the sound design is there, the acting is there, the script writing is there. The use of the word cunt in this movie is there and things like that. It's just kind of one of those instant classics for me. And I came in here today. I walked into John's house and immediately was like, this shit was so much better than that other one. It just is. Scratch all those.
The less horrifying stories about college roommates, like as far as it goes, you're like, you have like people who steal from you, people are like, you little piggy cunt.
Yeah.
And I feel like Billy actually, it's like a valuable lesson before you go to college. If we have any PSA, if we have any high school students listening, before you go to college,
Oh God.
74 Black Christmas, you left your dishes in the sink, you little piggy cunt.
Yeah. Good
Creepy.
primer.
Yeah, that could happen to you.
100%. Because this is real.
Real as it fucking gets.
But yeah, no. What about this? Is presumably like your second or third time seeing this, I'm sure.
I've watched this movie a lot.
Yeah. 7th or 8th.
Yeah,
Is that
something
fair?
like that.
Yeah, okay.
And it was funny because this is like I'm notorious for like, my grandmother was like my gateway into horror. So I saw this probably when I was about 10 or 11, and everybody had gone to sleep. We were staying up for Christmas night because she and I were night owls, and like She was like, "Do you want to watch a horror movie?" I'm like, "Of course I fucking do." Like, let's yeah. So, like, we run downstairs, we're sitting in front of the TV, and she pops in she had a VHS of Black Christmas, and like we sit there and watch it, and it's so funny because she would do this thing where like when something that is like way not age appropriate starts happening, she just like laser focuses into the movie and just doesn't say anything. So we get to the phone call scene. I had made a comment to somebody a couple days before because I had never heard cunt before in my entire life. So I made a comment to my aunt and I was like, well, I'm hearing somebody use a 4-letter word that starts with C. And she goes, John. I was like, what? Can't. And
distinct memory of asking my mom if I could say the C word. And she was like, what C word? And I was like, crap. What do you mean? What C word? There's another.
Yeah, dude.
It's a better C word too.
Yeah. there's just like the amount of just that little space with one C controls so much in this fucking world.
All of y'all are growing a heck.
But you know, the big thing that I will say, like comparative to like the newer one, I haven't seen the newest one, but like the 2007 version, that phone call was such a fucking letdown. Like that's like one of the fucking craziest parts of that whole movie. And he's just like, "You're gonna die tonight," and just fucking. But this was, you know, I just remember it was so creepy, and it was so. This was like one of the first times that I really saw like a movie with POV in it like that, and that was really fucking cool because like the more I watch reels these days on Instagram, I realize that children have no idea what POV means.
It's not a band.
I was wondering if this is one of the first horror movies to do POV. That was like actually one like the first thing I wrote down was like point of view horror. Are they one of the first people to do that?
I feel like I really wouldn't be surprised because like I'm trying to rack my brain for it right now. And like honestly, because like in the 70s in horror, especially, a lot of it was just pan shots, you know, like you think about stuff like from 72, like I Drink Your Blood and shit like that, where it's just like all of these super wides in a house and they're just trying to like, I guess, use up as much like personal space as they can between actors and shit. So I would think so, because it feels really like gross intimate, like like when he's like climbing down the attic for the first time and you just see his hands like going on either side, like working himself down.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Oh man. Well, let's get into some of the meat of this movie. Yeah, we already talked about the fact that Bob Clark was ruining Christmas for all these children. So again, that's just so fucking incredible to me. But actually, sorry, Eric took the time to write down.
Don't dare take this away from me.
No, you're doing it. You're doing it.
I was gonna say.
You know why? Okay. Oh, you're saying you didn't want to fucking do it.
No, I was saying I took the time to write this shit out.
Give us our itinerary for.
I actually can't read my own handwriting.
That was supposed to be my Christmas gift to you.
Thank you. Black Christmas 1974, directed by Bob Clark, written by Ray Moore, Olivia Hussey as Jess, Margot Kidder as Barb, John Saxon, for all you Enter the Dragon fans out there, as Ken Fuller, Keira Delay as Peter DeLay, Marion Waldman as Mrs. Mack, Andrea Martin as Phil, James Edmund as Mr. Harrison, Lynn Griffin as Claire. Those are my top 8.
Yeah, Saxon was also Nancy's father in the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
I was going to say, Saxon has been in like 500 different movies.
I know, he's incredible.
The crossover from the 1974 to the 2006, that Phil is the house mother in the 2006.
I had no idea. That's so cool.
I did pick up on that.
Man, she got short.
Did Barb not make your list?
Oh no, I said Barb, I think.
Okay.
Did I not say Barb?
Man, Margot Kidder was I think probably the one of the highlights, besides Olivia Hussey, who is just, I love bringing like, God, this sounds so catty now that I'm in the middle of the sentence. I don't know if I want to finish it. When they bring actual actors to horror movies, I feel like a lot of people, they're still in their training wheels when they do a horror movie. It's like the first thing that they get to do on camera, and sometimes they're like just not that fucking good. And Olivia Hussey is just a phenomenal actor.
Mhm.
And I think her as the final girl really was really powerful. And then Margot Kidder as Barb, I felt like she kind of made it. Tragic. Oh, there she is again, the dick sucking black.
Mhm.
She's wearing the thickest choker. It looks like it's keeping her head on. Absolutely.
Because that's kind of where I was coming from with. I was like, holy shit, that's the girl from Romeo and Juliet,
Mhm.
and that would have been like 3 or 4 years removed from Romeo and Juliet.
I think it
right?
was 68.
Yeah, so 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick math.
Yeah.
'Cause she was 16 when she did Romeo and Juliet.
I would fucking die for Olivia
Yeah.
Hussey.
Oh, absolutely.
She was supposed to be in a fan film called It's Me, Billy Part 2.
Oh shit.
Unfortunately, due to medical reasons, she was not able to travel to be in the movie, which really sucks because it looked like it was going to be a fucking great project, or it is going to be a great project. They're still moving forward with it, but unfortunately, she will not be a part of it. So that's the depressing thing you guys get for Christmas this year.
Oh wait, I have another depressing thing. Don't leave yet. Margot Kidder played this fabulous, sultry, sassy, drunk mess of a woman. I think at one point she's like getting a child drunk.
It's a bit late to head out now.
I think the little bugger snockered, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
About fellatio to the cops, which we
Drink
should all
this.
do more often. She drank herself to death.
Oh.
Yeah. Years later, she commits suicide by drinking.
Oh.
And crazy.
Cheers.
She also played Lois Lane. Just the dichotomy of this role. They were like, "Oh, well, you love to drink. Do you want to do this the whole time?" And she was like, "Yeah."
Does my desk come with scotch? Yeah, that's abhorrently depressing. So, anyways, getting into the Christmas spirit of stabbing each other and shit. But yeah, we have this. Yeah, I'm sure. I guess.
Someone's outside the sorority house.
I'm glad you brought up the mouth breathing, because I actually made a note that the scariest thing a killer can do is just be a man
Have nasal congestion.
that hard out of his fucking mouth. Oh.
And it's in every scene too. He's just he'll hang up the phone and just what was it? You're a gold-plated whore, mother.
Yeah. Oh god, the lines, dude. Barb's one-liners in this movie were fucking A tier.
Because it's just kind of rocking around the Christmas tree at this party for this sorority
Some
house.
idle chit chat.
Yeah, and I love, and I realized that rewatching it this time is the intimacy that really comes with a rotary phone.
Oh yeah.
Because it's very
no, I'll take it in the other room.
Will you people shut the fuck up?
Right.
Shit was so funny. I was like,
all right, all the men get out. Yeah, mom. Yeah, I'll be there at 7:30 tonight. Oh, you're not going to be there? You're dating a new guy. Okay, got it.
You're a fucking whore. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Does anybody want to go skiing?
Yeah. And it's what a flex. You should really be nicer to mom. You should shut the fuck up.
I was going to say, somebody's going to college for free.
I just think it's interesting in the older movies, you can generally kind of tell who's going to live and who's going to die by how well they adhere to societal rules, particularly women. You know from the beginning Barb's going to die. I feel like after her you can't rape a townie, I was like,
yeah.
Okay, so
you should probably die for that one. You need to somehow
atone.
So I was not going to bring up that line because I didn't want to do a trigger warning for it. But since you brought it up.
Thanks, Molly.
No, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. I've got it pre-recorded. I just wasn't going to put it in. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, please break that down for us.
I mean, like, we were like racking our brains for like half an hour.
I played The Sims, and my version of a townie is very different from.
Okay, so between the Twilight and The Sims, like, if you guys do need help, 1-800 don't kill yourself.
I was gonna say, do you want to coach me through this?
I think it's 988 now.
Yeah, so
I had to update my suicide trigger warning for the episodes.
And that's not even if you talk about suicide. It's just like if you listen to this and you're like, no, that's it, I'm good.
Eric plays video game Dollhouse. Got it.
And I'm gonna just dip out now. So yeah, I think it's like this weird duality because you have lines like that. But then there's also like it's 1974 and the heroine, the survivor, the final girl, the badass is like talking about getting an abortion.
Mhm.
And you know, like that was just made legal like a year beforehand, which I was kind of like the first time watching it,
Mhm.
wondering like, is that going to be some moral, you know, and I would say at the end of it, spoiler alert, if you've taken 50 years to watch this movie, I think that she does die. I think that's the implication at the end of the movie with the phone ringing that
Mhm.
she will die. But it is interesting that like you can't rape a townie and like I'm a strong woman and I can get an abortion if I want to. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. It's more like the townies are all final girls. Like they're all strong, badass bitches. Is that what you're saying?
really, I guess I'm just saying that there's like a good mix of like attitudes in the script that it's kind of representative of. There's
Gotcha.
like pettiness and misogyny. You can't rape a townie is basically saying like they're so slutty.
Oh,
they-
Got it.
it's the other side of what I
Out
said.
on the town. Yes.
Yeah, they can't say no. They're like they want anyone. I would say the implication there is like get me the fuck out of this town.
Right.
I'm fuck as many college kids as I can, and like hopefully one of you I can sink my claws into, and you will get me out. I think the implication with the you can't rape townies is like they just want it, which is
This is-
horrible.
This is why my notes
Old
say
played it.
Peter fucking sucks.
I did read that Bob Clark actually received some praise for like implementing some feminism ideals in this movie, and when he was approached about that, he was like, "Oh, did I? That's cool."
That's some
But
John
Burger
Carpenter
King,
shit.
like, it's
Yeah.
hard to see that in.
Right. Right. He's like, "Got it."
Well, and it's funny too, because it's probably because he put so much focus around just making a badass character that it wasn't one of those things where he really saw the sexuality. He just saw the character, and then with her gender would be the things that you have to face.
Because this would have also had a hand in establishing the concept of the final girl and like the early phases of that idea.
yeah, this is our pre-Laurie Strode era.
She's so brave. Jess is so brave because when I tell you I would unplug my phone and leave.
Yeah.
I'm unplugging my phone and I'm leaving. Like, Dad, pick me up, bring the station wagon around. I think my friends are dead. I'm jumping through a window. Ow.
All my friends are dead.
He's in the house. Absolutely not. And that's like one of those powerful parts of the movie that like that's the part when I said you laugh, you scream, and you cry. That's the part that really kind of rocks me is when the that pivotal he's in the house
Mhm.
and she's like, answer me, and she fucking goes upstairs. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, no way.
My favorite part about that entire scene was right before that when Saxon's having the conversation with Nash at the police station. He's like, and Nash, don't fuck this up. We go directly into the conversation. He fucks it up like two
Immediately
sentences.
fumbles. No, Nash is like low-key my favorite character in this whole movie. oh, fellatio's something dirty, isn't it? I get it.
My favorite
Yeah.
character was the dude in the background that was laughing at him. That shit was so
whole,
funny.
His whole character was laugh at Nash.
One of the girls that was in this afternoon game. I know. Something dirty, ain't it?
For some reason, I just cannot get past, first off, the fur coat man.
Oh my God.
dude.
That dude had a fucking pelt, first
Yeah.
of all.
That's Craven the Hunter, motherfucker.
Everyone is a normal college student, and then we have like one man who's like probably 40 and just like a pimp named Slickback.
Funk,
Fucking-
funk
They don't-
music just plays when he's walking.
yeah,
That's
crazy.
My name is a pimp named Slickback, and I believe I may have misplaced.
holy shit. Slickback. It's not Slickback.
Yo, privilege in the 70s was wild.
Yeah.
Because you knew it took like 13 minks to like fucking make that.
Oh, so many more. Either that or like one bear. I would say
Yeah.
I
like,
was just saying, I'd rather kill one bear.
yeah.
Don't get me
That-
wrong. It's not easy.
I was gonna say that's a very like masculine thing to say, like, oh, I'd just kill a bear. I'm like, would you, John?
Well,
He's
it's with
native. He
it's
says
with
shit
a
like that.
gun. That is a cheap shot. It's not like I'm gonna fisticuffs the bear and think that I'm gonna win. Because like that motherfucker would
Because that's
palm-
just Joe Rogan.
that motherfucker would palm me like a basketball and I would have no fucking face afterwards.
I just need to bring up the other, like the elephant in the room of like, they like fake you out so bad with the boyfriend, Peter, right?
Yeah.
And I think so just everything about him gives like, I'm a murderer.
Yeah.
First and foremost, his fucking haircut, that fuck ass Bob. I saw that man and I was like, he's a murderer. He's a murderer. I don't know what he's guilty of if he's going to be the slasher in this, but he's a fucking killer.
I knew he was a piece of shit when he destroyed a $30,000 piano. I was like, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just privilege in the 70s showing itself again.
Oh, true. Okay. Sorry.
Man, fuck this college.
I'm trying to make a list of like the worst haircuts in horror, and I have to like Gale Weathers, Scream 3, the micro bangs.
Absolutely.
Someone should have called the National fucking Guard. That was a crime.
Mhm.
But the two is Peter, because it's like an unruly beaver held in his head. Ugh.
How many beavers did Peter have to kill for that wig?
For real. How many beavers died to make the fur coat and then they had a little left over and they were like, let's make a fuck ass Bob out of this one. Here
There's
you go.
actually, if you look, there's a beaver tail that's coming out of the bottom.
He's also Daniel Boone.
Honestly, dude, I could see that in a reenactment. Like if that had happened during the 70s, he totally could have been Daniel Boone. At
Daniel Boone was a man.
this point, we're hitting plot points.
Let's
but
go.
one of the things I want to talk about is just the phone calls in general.
Yeah, the Mona.
It's the Mona. And I was like,
Tabernacle.
and like, I just like, okay, so with the remake, do you think that they were just afraid to say all of that? Is that what it was? And it's like, we have to replace language with artificial blood? Because that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I think that you probably like, there's probably like a cunt to murder ratio to get like your ratings in like a reasonable area. Like you can like murder 5 girls or you can say cunt.
Hell yeah.
But for some reason, one is way worse than the other. They're like, saying cunt is a misogynistic crime against women. Just don't say it and murder this bitch. Okay?
It's better that she be dead than offended.
Yeah. I killed her because I had so much respect for her. I'm like the bear that Kanye plays on.
I did that. I think that is really one of the most effective parts of this is the layering of the voices, the surprisingly good ADR for this movie. Like
Mhm. Oh, 100%.
Yes,
Claps to whoever did that.
strong agree.
Yeah, because it is really great. You can like see everything in this movie. The lighting is fine and the sound is fine. And in a 70s movie, that's like all you can really hope for. Then you'll never get it except for in this one. But yeah, let me lick it. They're pretty piggy cunt.
I loved watching you read that off the page.
I wrote it down. It's like bold. And
Oh,
it's actually
Underlines.
fur coat with a bunch of underlines because that's the other most important aspect of me. Yeah.
and one thing I do want to say about some of these phone calls too is I think I picked up on this like the first time that I watched it is there's almost this illusion that kind of surrounds it where like if you watch it now and you watch it with subtitles on, it'll say woman's voice and man's voice, and it kind of differentiates between all of that. So there's like, is there some sense of like paranormal that's happening here? Especially for the end of the day, you just tell yourself like he's just really good at mimicking shit, you know? I know that's like a level of psychosis too for a lot of people is like you just have those arguments and those battles and shit all in your head constantly to the point where I guess you could just fucking augment your voice to literally sound like your mother.
Yeah. I think at one point, Jess, played by our Lord and Savior Olivia Hussey, she does say like she implies that she thinks it's a different person. She's like, there was a woman screaming. Which is, yeah, I think it's like it's all one person, but it's like so effective. I mean, not in practice in the movie, but to the girls experiencing it, that yeah, they think it's like obviously somewhere else and like multiple people probably.
Yeah, this was before Robin Williams.
Was it pre-Robin?
He was doing stand up in the mid 70s.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Which, so no, but I was just trying to slide in. That's all.
Also, before you could be rude as a woman, because they're all just like dutifully like staying on the line.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. I was just saying, and that's why Barb's our fucking champion in this movie. Like, I know that we love our Lord and Savior Olivia Hussey, but Barb, like you're saying, is like such a paradigm that really didn't exist in cinema a lot at the time. They existed in real life, you know, but they weren't necessarily shown on the screen.
This wasn't modeled.
Yeah. And actually, this is when I guess she's being kind of mean to like Claire.
Yeah, what did Claire ever do to anybody?
Be a virgin.
Claire
Yeah,
seemed really.
she didn't fuck. She didn't fuck. And that makes you suspicious.
This girl doesn't fuck. This dude fucks.
Emphatically pointing at Barb. This dude fucks.
I will say, ironically, though, for a virgin, she did remember to wrap it up.
True.
For kill number 1.
I love it. I love it. I knew that's exactly where you were going.
I want to thank the
Holy
drum
shit.
section on that one. Thank you, Molly.
She's also way too nice. She's like, I think she see someone in her closet moments. So she's packing the cat. The number one hero in this movie is that cat who's like, there's someone in the fucking house.
Yeah, fucking Claude.
Claude.
Hey, hello.
And she's like looking at this face through the plastic. She's like, hey, Claude.
Yeah.
Hey, Claude. It's oh shit.
And she's like, who is that? Who is that? Like, I don't, not to victim blame, but you need to like.
You can see Billy roll his eyes through the plastic.
Oh God, we got another virgin. That's probably why she's dead. She still had that Disney sense of whimsical.
Yeah.
She was more inclined to believe that Claude had turned to a human than she was that there was a murderer in her closet.
They were about to
She
sing a
has,
song
like,
together.
She has like a good relationship with her father, so she just like never anticipated that a man would hurt her.
Yeah.
While Barb is like, why don't you suck my dick?
Not at college in Toronto.
Not in Toronto. They don't.
So the other thing I want to talk about is just Miss Mac for a second, who is this problem. Like, number 3 in this movie for being the most incredible. Definitely number
gee,
2.
I love
Yeah.
Snack.
Definitely number 2 for just her fucking dialogue. But more specifically, what I want to talk about is the scene where she goes and gets the fucking she gets the bottle of booze out of her book.
Yeah.
She goes to brush her teeth. She brushes her teeth. And then this is the level for me of like true alcoholism.
Yeah. Kesha downloaded her entire personality from this scene.
When you fucking like knock back half of a fifth and then you just go.
Yeah.
And just gargle. Because at first I was like, is that mouthwash? I heard the glass at the table. I was like, oh.
From the fucking toilet. Holy shit.
Eat for booze, and booze is for her for sure.
Holy shit.
She keeps it real with the alcoholism in like a number of scenes. It's like it's haunting a little bit. I feel like second only to Barb, just because Barb gets a kid drunk, which is and cracks the beer in the police station.
Yeah.
Guy.
When she goes in and she's smoking a cigarette in front of Nash, I was like, God, the 70s were cool.
Hell yeah. Just talking about fellatio and giving people cancer. You don't give a fuck.
No.
Oh yeah. I love that the house mother has the line. In every horror movie, I'm just looking for the line where you're like, oh, I wonder if that's gonna come up later. And she has it where she's like, oh, this door, something's wrong with the door. I can't get out of the door. We've been calling about it forever. And you're like, oh, I wonder if that's gonna fucking come back here.
Actually, so I'm glad you said something because I had forgotten about it. Something I did want to talk about was that fucking door, because in the opening scene of this movie, it was fucking incredible that he's like standing 5 feet away from the door and just okay. Claire comes downstairs and goes, oh, who left the door open? And then we go back to outside and he's like looking up the trellis like,
You know who he reminds me of? I think I caught it. I think I've landed on it. Y'all remember Brainy from Hey Arnold?
yeah.
They used to sneak up behind Helga and just breathe on her.
Yeah.
Same vibe.
But he would like smile too with those fucking glasses. That shit was so weird.
It is truly, so there's like a lot of, I feel like, how would you not hear the screaming and the moaning from like in your attic? He's like at one point he's like on the stairs, like 10
Well, it is
feet.
a sorority house.
And yeah, okay, true.
Don't
It's
get
like the combination of like amazing Canadian craftsmanship where you can't hear like
Hand carved mahogany, baby.
It's just a fucking tree.
It's made out of hockey sticks.
But then also your door doesn't work. So there's like a give and take. There's a give and take.
There's no home invasions in Canada.
No.
Pray to Wayne Gretzky tonight. Yes, Father.
Give me 6 Halo Gretzky's.
Don't nickel and dime the great one.
Goddamn right.
Claire's dad is on the scene, right?
Yeah.
Hey, she's 2 hours late for supper.
He's
or whatever.
Yeah, he's kind of like a reflection of what Molly was talking about earlier, where like when you see a really, really good actor,
yeah, and then
people like that come on, and you're just like, because like, dude, I gotta tell you, like, if I was wondering where my daughter was, which I don't have, I would be freaking the fuck out. And I get that his thing is like, she's 2 hours late for dinner, but it's like, if that's weird for her and you guys don't have cell phones yet, I'd already been fucking at the police station. Because
but it's also like the 70s where like your 8-year-old kid could go missing and they're like, are you sure he didn't just run away to his second family? Like, come back. It's really a problem. You think even the cops are like, she's probably in a cabin sucking someone's dick. And he's like, that's not better. Like, you need to find her wherever she is.
Officer, you're supposed to be making me feel better. What was it Barb said? For a civil servant, you suck.
Yeah.
An attitude. Yeah. ACAB. She was ACAB before it was ACAB, you know?
I was waiting for her to put her cigarette out on his forehead.
I'm kind of falling in love with Barbara a little bit the more and more we talk about her.
Oh, dude. I can't die twice, but she's on that list too.
100%.
Superman will catch her fall.
We get the major plot development for our leading lady, Jess, and it's she has an interaction with her boyfriend, Peter, who is practicing tirelessly, noted by the tray with like 400 cigarette butts sitting on this piano. You know what today means for me, right? Yeah, we need to talk. Yeah, what's up? I'm pregnant. Wow, that's awesome. I can't wait to have a baby with you. I don't want it. Well, you can't make a decision like that. You haven't even asked me yet.
And that's when she drops my favorite line in that conversation. Ask you. I wasn't even going to tell you.
Yeah.
That's messed up. What you getting back?
What chain?
Yeah, what chain?
And I was just like, oh,
Oh, so mine was a couple moments earlier when they're on the phone and he says, I love you. And she just says,
I know. So clean. That Han Solo shit.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
and it's so interesting that they do set him up. He is the ringer that you're like, he for sure. First off, the hair. We've already discussed the beaver hair.
We got
He's every silhouette so far.
You see it and you know he's committed crimes, probably war crimes.
That turtleneck was a crime.
He
War crimes.
plays the piano like a murderer. Like the scene where he's playing the piano, you're like, oh, he for sure has felt flesh in a knife before.
Oh, yeah.
I just assume he didn't know how to play piano.
No, he was a jazz musician is what that was. As somebody who has had to play music for important people before, you don't continue playing after you mess up. You just say thank you and you leave. You don't just make it through the
You don't break the back of the grand off.
Because I couldn't tell what piece of music he was trying to play. I'll be real. But there's no way you do a piano recital with a 2.5-minute piece. So he had been playing for 7 minutes and was still going into that territory. I was cackling during that sequence.
Murder piano, because really that it was fucking unsaid. That was what the first time I watched it, that cemented like, oh, he for sure did it, because who would play the piano like that and not have a taste for human like flesh and murder?
I completely agree.
I feel like he would have eaten the baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
What mother and I want to know.
So like what'll kind of segue into one of our next plot points is like the search party, because they're like looking for Claire or whatever, but they find just a dead girl in the midst of all this. So Janice.
R.I.P.
But here's the thing is like, do we believe that was Billy, or could it have been Peter, or could it have been just another random Torontoan?
A townie,
if you will.
No.
It's the 70s, so like you could like that's when if you like you got the urge, you like, I don't know, feel like I might just murder someone. What are they gonna do? Connect me by my rotary phone to this area? No. Just like touches it, all of his fingerprint pees on it a little bit.
You got to keep the suspect on the phone for 45 minutes, or we're not going to be able to trace this.
He's gonna have to sit down with you and have a cup of tea, Olivia Hussey, if you want us to catch this guy.
Because that's go ahead.
I think it's for sure Peter. I think that was Peter's like first move on the way to the house, was murdering that little girl.
Do you think she was like the first chair in the music ensemble?
I think it looked like his sexy sister, and that I did like a lot of filling in the blanks for Billy and like what Billy's story is.
Mm-hmm.
Which I say I thought it was Peter. I meant I think it was Billy.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I think it was Billy who killed that.
Because again, it was the 70s, and like the biggest difference between then and now is like now, or back then is like, actually even back then, like as long as you don't just cum all over everything, it's really fine and you'll get away with it.
Basically, unless you like are you do it like bank robber style, where you're like, and this was Pasty Peter and I killed that girl in the park and you'll never catch me. Like they aren't gonna catch you. You'd have to himself.
Here's my home address where I'll have the bag of money at.
Hasty Peter and Slickback. Let's get it.
You know, in the original version of the script, it was supposed, so his name is, I believe, Chris and Claire. Chris
Adorable.
fur coat. It was supposed to be her in the house, Jess is in the house in bed, and Chris is there with her, and then he's revealed to be the killer, but they thought that it was too many plot holes. The cops a couple of times while the murders were happening.
Yeah, I don't think murderers wear fur.
No.
They're more environmentally conscious than that.
I just don't think they care about spending that much money on a nice piece of clothing.
They either care too much about the fur, or they couldn't be bothered to get the fur. But it's not going to be like, you can't murder a fur coat. On your bear coat? Absolutely not.
Did you guys know that they were using those fur coats to smuggle cocaine into the country for a while?
I don't doubt that at all.
That was
I
fucking
didn't
crazy.
know that, but I don't doubt
They
that
would
at
like
all.
hide it in the hairs, and then they would put it in like this solvent, and they would scrape all the
Shake it
rock
off.
off. Cartel is wild, man. Apparently they have the best scientists on earth.
It's just 40 dudes coming out of Mexico wearing fur coats.
Hell yeah. And just reeking of cocaine.
What could we be up to?
Like every other person in the 70s. Just
They're sweating
Yeah.
fucking bullets and getting high from their coats they're wearing. They're sprinting into America. That was just a fun fact.
I love that. That's a great segue. I got to use the potty again. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, so luckily Barb is still alive, right? As one of the best characters.
She's drunk,
she-
but I'd rather be drunk, but I guess I'm alive.
yeah.
Or at least I'm alive, or however that line goes.
Are you talking about?
Rain on me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so apparently the line is dry because I thought it was drunk too.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was.
I'm gonna live my own truth on that one.
Yeah, exactly. But we had the scene where let's just talk about Barb for a minute.
Yeah,
Let's
can we talk about turtles?
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna talk about just the greatness of Barb for a minute because like Claire's father is having an existential crisis right now and like talking to Miss Mac and Phil, and she's just
I
like,
don't have an appetite for food. I'm just worried about my daughter. Hey, you ever seen turtles fuck before?
they fuck for 3 days.
How could I make something like that up? No, really, they just 3 days, 24 hours a day. Do you know how I know this? Because I went down to the zoo and I watched them. I didn't stay for the whole 3 days. Sure ejaculation.
No, I watched it.
Well, not the whole time.
I got bored
So I went to go watch the zebras fuck.
because they ejaculate prematurely. Which is just top 10 horror movie lines of dialogue of all time.
Yeah.
My fucking queen.
Also, like, is that true? Like, I feel like they're really slow, so that just kind of makes sense.
They're tantric turtles. That's like where we get tantric. They can't put it in a movie if it's not true, John.
True.
Obviously.
That's my fault.
You
That's
think
my
somebody would make a movie and tell lies? John?
Idiot.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm actually Annihilation's actually going to happen. That was actually a time capsule movie that they dropped off for us, just so we know. Because it's going to take place where the lighthouse happened.
I feel so validated that you said that. Because I feel like I ruined an entire month of content with my existential shit I made everybody listen to through November. We literally had, like, he posted something. He was like, hey, what do you think about our podcast? What should we be doing for our other episodes? And somebody commented, they were like, hey, can you go back to bad movies? Can you go back to being funny, please?
Someone just a weird, you're masochist fan who just like loves to watch you suffer.
Yeah, I was
Like,
sorry.
your weird, your Cenobite friend who's like sitting there with like needles in them watching your podcast.
Sorry for being an artist.
We have such sights to show you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about fucking Twilight now with just like angels to some,
Oh, I can't.
demons to others.
Holy shit! Twilight month is gonna fucking hit.
I actually hate how excited people are for it. People are so fucking excited for Twilight.
I'm low-key obsessed with these movies.
I am too. I was like in I think 8th grade when those came out, and I definitely went to them. And I would probably still put Jacob on my list of like worst hair in movies ever. It
Yeah.
could be like
I was
Scream
really hoping that was going a better direction.
Theater, and then maybe the fucking 22-inch bust down that they have that little who's like he's not Native American at all. I think he's just like a tanned white person.
In fact, he uses Spanish lingo, like loca.
Well, I think we can all agree on the fact that Stephanie Meyer just shouldn't be allowed to write brown people.
He's part of the Mormon Tabernacle, and they just
Yeah.
love
Nailed it. Nailed it.
fiction. I think that was like, yeah, weird vampire fan fiction. It's cool.
But
So where do you want to pick up from, John?
oh my god. So there is one thing I do want to say. Because we got
Plus or minus 45 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah. So Miss Max kill is like one of my favorites in this fucking movie because I put it down as hook, line, sinker.
Beautiful.
I love a killer who doesn't just stick to stabbing, like you really
Yeah.
finding his joy in this. Like he is getting creative. He's working with the environment. Like he's an artist. And I wanted to ask, can you still consider someone a slasher if they're doing minimal like stabbing / slashing?
Yeah.
You can't call him a hooker because
Right.
that's different.
Well, we can do anything.
We've already got somebody called Hussy in this movie, so it's
Anything goes.
we can do whatever we want.
So
It's our fucking podcast.
and it's funny you say that because like a hot take on that same concept is I don't think that Jason or Freddy are slashers.
Okay.
Because when you think about it, Freddy is a nightmare monster and Jason is a zombie. Like those are they're creature features to me.
Let's move on.
I know people are going to be like, John's stupid again. He just keeps fucking talking.
It is valid. Like I would call Late Checkout a slasher movie.
100%.
Based on the setup, and killing like beautiful, buxom young people in a specific setting. And I would consider Black Christmas a slasher movie for the same reason. But I would also maintain that like he doesn't really do much like slashing. He gets really creative with it.
Mm-hmm.
The unicorn.
Yes. That was like I remember seeing that the first time, and you just see him through the glass of the unicorn. Like I almost felt like I felt him getting a hard on, just like standing over her, like getting ready to grab.
Oh, this is such a good idea, bro.
He like high fives himself.
Oh, this is crazy.
Because this dude has like some of the most autistic moments in this movie, like especially like after he kills Miss Mac, he has like a level 1 meltdown where like the camera's on his chest and he just like he punches the fucking fake horse that's up there and starts breaking shit in the attic.
When the tism is weapons grade.
This movie could have been a case study.
So sick.
Absolutely.
I want to quickly talk about this is not for the sake of getting serious because I know this is a serious podcast and I just
We talk about real shit that we
Yeah.
make up.
My favorite line in this entire movie comes from Jess, where she's being confronted once again because Peter is inside the house at this point. I waited for you and I got cold, so I went upstairs and took a nap and everything. Right. So he makes the point because he's again trying to push the issue. I don't want you to have the abortion and everything. And she says, she's talking about, you're talking about your dreams of wanting to become a concert pianist. Well, I have things I want to do too. And she drops the line, you can't ask me to give up my ambitions because your plans have changed. Just drop that mic right there.
Ooh.
Because that was a beautifully written and delivered line.
Absolutely. And that is like one of the more like gripping things about Black Christmas is that it is so funny and cheeky, but then there is this like, arguably the like B plot is this like kind of don't give a fuck empowerment of Jess. She's just really taking control over her own life moments before it ends.
Yeah.
And Olivia's delivery in because it's really, she has the serious scenes. Like if we look at this scene by scene, she is ultimately what contains the gravity of the story outside of the slasher. And everything else is very much like you're saying, it's very tongue in cheek. It's very cheeky. It's like even just the scene where she is like opening the door and Phil's behind her and the search party's like, what you got going on in there? And Phil's like, our dog died.
Yeah.
I would rather die than have to talk to these old
Right.
relatable queens.
And of course, yeah, and of course those dudes are so fucking creepy because as soon as the door closes, they're just like,
They're like, what? What are they?
Party where there's like one guy on like a fucking toboggan or like a snowmobile or something. And it's like, hey, Kevin, don't go too fast because you're gonna fuck this up for everyone.
Yeah.
Like he just always does that. He just looks down like I know we're looking for a dead kid. Just like goes off.
God, Bob, they think we're weird now.
Yeah. The little weird funny bits are
but again, like
I love that they had the wherewithal to find like the humor in that moment too, like despite everything that's happening around them.
Yeah,
because one would assume that most of them just saw that dead girl like over by the pond or fucking whatever.
The fifth person, hey, some girl died. Yeah, we heard.
Now they got this weirdo walking around downtown with an erection everywhere, asking if he could come into people's fucking homes.
Ask me about my wiener.
Man, college was weird.
sister baby, my baby with my sister, Agnes.
Agnes sounds hot.
Right to jail. Are you in an attic in some woman's house right now?
Let's get
way I have to make some phone calls.
Let's get canceled.
Someday. He's like, I really just don't want to do social media anymore. Just cancel us.
I'm glad you're picking up my slow quitting of social media.
Oh man. Also the fact that they put a wiretap in this house, I thought was incredible.
Which was amazing.
Because like
they had to have a written permission in the 70s to put a wiretap in a house.
Now you just buy a Roomba.
I was gonna say. Yeah. Hey Google, are we being tapped? Absolutely.
Why would I tap you, Eric?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Just start vibrating.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm going off the grid in 5 years.
But yeah, we have like a pretty primo final girl battle, right? Because we have like this whole movie, like it's been very clear, and I think with the storyline that was written for Jess kind of shows that she has the fortitude the entire time, like to be her own person, to do what it takes. She is willing to do what it takes to do what she knows is best for her.
So you got the look, but do you have the touch?
Oh, she had the touch. She's like walking around with the fucking like fire poker, which is like one of my
I
personal
was gonna
favorite
say,
weapons.
grade A horror survival weapon.
Oh
there,
yeah, dude, that shit's cast iron. Oh my god.
I so she had the will, she had the way, and I also just feel like she really wanted to fucking kill Peter. Like at that point, it doesn't really matter if Peter, she's like, get off my back, you fucking weird wig son of a bitch.
Me not having the courage to break up with somebody.
Yeah.
I will say I am convinced that she is the one that killed Peter.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I'm 100% convinced of that. I don't know if that's a take or not for people. Like,
I think that was pretty straightforward, my guy.
well, Billy's in the house. It's not like he died. Like, but again, that's just me, and apparently everybody else. I'm not special, so.
Bro really thought he said something right there.
Not even a little bit. Here I was bringing up a topical conversation. You're like, he's a fucking moron.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you said it with your eyes.
Well, I agreed with you, technically, is what I did.
But anyways, like this fight that they had throughout the house was awesome because like somehow they managed to still not reveal Billy's face through all of this, you know. And it's a relatively quick getaway. You know, she makes it downstairs after she like scissor kicks him in the chest like a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And like she gets down and you have like, what do you call it? Just that coif of Peter's hair behind, just floating behind the windows.
The fuck ass of Peter's wig coming through the window.
Jess, are you down there? It's me, Peter.
Are you sure you want to have an abortion?
Yeah, he really does come in like the fucking Kool-Aid man, just like forcing that conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Huh?
And yeah, I think Peter, I mean, everyone gets one, right? You get to murder one shitty boyfriend, right?
I've managed to survive this long, so I couldn't
I was
tell
gonna
you.
say, I guess I'm clean.
Hide every fire poker within a 5-mile radius.
And that just continues to reinforce it's not about being the fastest zebra, it's about not being the slowest zebra.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
That was a great premature ejaculation joke.
I was gonna say I tied it back. Rolodex method.
It all
Let's
comes
be
back to
charming together.
zoological sex.
Everybody's so talented.
Speaking of talent, though, like right before this battle doesn't.
I was gonna say her acting. You brought this up earlier.
Yeah. And Molly, this is again a testament to your point much earlier in the show, was that moment of Olivia having that breakdown at the door was like the most well acted scene in this entire film, and she just fucking delivered the shit out of that.
Yeah.
So what I have a question for you about is, because you've been in situations like that, whether it be for an audition or actually in some of your roles as well, like there's a lot of different techniques that people have, you know, for like to get yourself in that kind of space. What do you kind of do for yourself when you have to deliver something in that fashion?
So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. And I feel like it kind of depends, like when you're doing when you're doing the scene, for me, the nature of acting is to be there and to be present and to be involved 100%. That just thinking of something that happened to you in the past that makes you cry, for me, is just not enough. It feels like modeling with extra steps. Like,
I love that.
Motion modeling where you're just kind of emulating something. And I think what Olivia Hussey captures so well is she's not like thinking about what it should look like.
I agree.
She's being there of your, you know, I'm not like a sorority girl at all, but your sisters are dead. And I think especially kind of taking into consideration that speech of like, I can't stop my life for your change of plans, that realization that like everyone around me's life has just ended, and my life might now end too, painfully and horribly. And when you allow yourself to be in that headspace, it's shocking and horrifying what will come out of you, weird noises. And I think that's like, for me, that's really what she doesn't try to be like like, like she doesn't try to like, oh my God, I'm so scared.
For everyone listening to this, watch this on the YouTube
I was gonna
channel.
say,
Oh my God.
one more time. What isn't she trying to be like? Just
she actually just gives you existential dread and terror.
Yeah.
In the purest form. I think that's really what makes her such a good actor, is she is 100% of this movie, no matter how ridiculous and like kind of shticky it gets sometimes. She's there and she is that character, and she's just letting herself be, which I think really makes the difference. And it's also super fucking painful and terrible. Like, shooting horror movies is something that gets shit on a lot, because there's so many like cheesy horror movies that don't really involve people acting, but again, that kind of like long form modeling thing that I was talking about. You are actually like in the headspace of like, I am going to get raped and die. It's not pleasant, and then you get to do it, and then they're like, okay, let's do that 5 more times.
Yeah.
And it's not super fun. I've definitely like witnessed people, it's when we filmed My Death for Late Checkout, which, spoiler alert, not everyone in the slasher movie lives.
Especially the co-writer.
Yeah. Like, afterwards, it was like we were all best friends on that set. We really we had a great time. We're goons. We're just like laughing it up all the time. And after that, like, everyone just kind of like, don't fucking touch me. Don't look at me. Like, we just all kind of like wanted to go sit and not talk about it, because it's really horrifying, not fun. But I will say, for pickup shots, when you just need the shot of me crying, the tears coming from the eyes, those like really just visual things, I actually, if I think too much about meeting Chewbacca, I will cry, and that's not an exaggeration. I've had people offer to like take me to Disneyland, because I've heard that you actually can meet Chewbacca, and I don't think I'm ready. I mean, I could cry right now, but I'm not going to.
Incredible.
I've been speaking with you for precisely 1 hour and 10 minutes, and you're one of my favorite people on the planet. I just need you to know that. That was the purest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I'm gonna cry, because holy shit.
It's like the little girl that like cries because she can't stop thinking about waffles.
Yeah,
it's the
dude.
same level of
Oh
purity.
my God.
That's it. That's it.
Let me
So-
readjust
so
my
you'd be
mic.
his
Let me
Han
take my-
Solo.
Yeah, let's do something with my hands real quick. Hang on. Here we go. No, that's brilliant. And I love that, because like, to your point, I mean, I feel like she really captures the desperation of that. I don't want to go up the stairs, but I need everybody that's alive, that may or may not be alive up there, to wake the fuck up. And it's like her head jerks. It feels a little overacting. It feels a little performative, but you buy into it, and you're like, no, because you would be doing the same thing. You wouldn't be looking cool in that moment, you know?
Yeah, she really commits to the bit, and the way that she yells, "Answer me."
Yeah.
Yeah, that just that one makes me cry almost
Yeah.
every shit, because it is just so fucking horrifying to think about. And yeah, you're right. It's like they're probably on some Quaaludes. They've been just drunk this whole time. I have to go get them. Like, there's no way for me to just bail
boy.
I'm not gonna let you off the hook with the Chewbacca thing, but I think we'll save that for the interview.
Yeah, make sure that you guys are checking out our exclusive interview with Molly here in a little bit, but I was gonna say I think it's actually hard to kind of follow up all of that because Molly, that was really insightful. I will say one thing I think would be really fun is, do you have any theories about this film, especially with the ending? Because we never had a Black Christmas 2. We just had 2 remakes over 50 years.
So for you professional virgins who haven't seen Black Christmas, we assume at the end of Black Christmas that our heroine Jess has killed the killer when she slayed her horribly haired partner.
The alliteration.
There's way too many alliterations. I apologize for that. And then she's this in very quintessential 70s police work. The police just leave her in the house with all of these dead bodies where all of these murders just happen. They're like, she's a woman, she's hysterical, she needs to have a nap, give this bitch a Quaalude. They put her down in the bed.
Quaalude.
And you think, okay, like she's resting, it's over. Maybe a little even like tie back to Romeo and Juliet, which is the other like Olivia Hussey's in of her peacefully laying there. And then dun dun dun, dramatic reverb. It mouth breathing, pan out to the fact that there is still very much someone in the house, and then the phone rings. The movie ends with, I think it's 13 rings of the phone, which, as we know, is the scariest number.
Naturally.
Yeah. You're like 12, that's fine. And the 13th comes and you're like, no!
we didn't have the time or the budget for 666 rings.
It actually like I love follow through. I feel like sometimes horror movies, and especially horror movies that have comedy elements, it's hard to find where you break the tension because you build and you build and you build. And like the turtles, it's like, well, when are we gonna fucking come here, you guys? Like at some point we have to like give them something. And oftentimes it's the credits, like something shocking happens, and then like, he was a boy, she was a girl, line in the credits to kind of cut the tension. But they don't do that with this. Throughout the credits, the phone just keeps ringing. And it's that horrible, like grating
rotary sound.
Oh, fucking terrible. So in my head, I have a couple of theories. So first is that Billy used to live in the house. He was trapped in the attic because he's a little fucking, I think that might actually just be how people in the 70s handled autism. They're just like, oh, he's freaked.
That's my attic kid.
Yeah, I see like the cage.
Harry Potter.
The cage behind Eric there. I assume that was kind of what's going on in your house as well.
That's actually for Eric, yeah.
He gets the cage, you get the crawl space, we have like all of the levels covered. In the attic. I'm not in
Yeah, I put a choker on and I go to bed.
So my theory is that he fucked his sister. She got pregnant. His parents were furious. He's like, wants to know where the baby is. Maybe he kills his sister and kills the parents. And then it's just left with this, like, what happened to the baby? What happened? And this very like childlike, not understanding the consequences to your actions and also hating women. So I don't think that he would have relaxed at all. And I don't think it's one of those situations where like sometimes in horror movies, you'll have the killer like take special interest in the final girl where he wants to like keep her and like pet her and like play with her. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've kept a girl in my attic.
Well, you just recently got out of jail, so we don't have to,
Is she still alive up there? How long were you away?
I know, I left her one of those little like hamster feedy things. She's good. So I think Jess is certainly doomed. But the question, I guess, is if the phone just keeps ringing, can he get off? Is the phone call part of it? He's like, hello, or he's like leaves a message. He's like, I don't know if you have any room on the, oh God, I don't even know what it's called. What do you leave a message on that's not your voicemail box? An answering machine.
There you go.
He's like on the answering machine, like, hey, this is Billy.
You got there.
Yes, and know where the baby's at. Call me back.
I feel like the one thing I would have done because like I just can't be trusted in these situations is like, oh my God, something's bad's happening. I would have just taken the phone and left it off the hook.
Oh, yeah. Catch me at the Holiday Inn. I'm fucking out of there. Tell me you're gonna lick my little piggy cunt once. Straight to voicemail. Straight to voicemail.
Dude,
Fuck, I need a drink.
You get swatted for that kind of shit now. Like people,
I was gonna say, yeah.
People get upset just over losing Call of Duty. You can't be doing that shit anymore.
And from inside the house, they're like pinging the phone. They're like, bitch, are you inside of my house?
Also, that fucking like operator station was incredible. God. I was like, how the fuck does he even know? Because like we're hearing the ringing because it's just like correlating between the scenes, and he's just like walking through like,
yeah.
Huh?
The maniac's inside the mailbox.
Eric, I like to do a rewatch. Always look in the background, especially when it's like a solo shot on one of the girls in their room or the house mother, because you will see like weird shadows in the background.
That
I think that is Billy. It's like a movie that keeps on giving. If you watch it a couple
gotcha.
Stuff you'll catch every time of like he's really just there, and everyone's drunk and high and self-obsessed that they're like, everything's fine.
I will definitely be rewatching this one as somebody who is no longer a professional version and can downgrade to amateur.
Like you're a regular old gold ribbon whore if I've ever seen one.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Go away, Billy.
What a Tinder bio. No, that's really insightful. I appreciate that. That's cool. I kind of like stuff like that where it's hiding in plain sight the whole time anyway.
Yeah, but you like Robert Eggers movies.
I love Robert Eggers movies. I think he's a fucking genius. That was me like, what do I get myself for Christmas this year? Do I get that like AAA 24 subscription and just buy Robert Eggers for 10% off? I actually did order an A24 shirt.
Oh, man. Well, Molly, that was a fabulous pick, and
thank you.
Like, great way to kick off the Christmas season. But you have so much shit going on. So let's cover some of that real quick. So first of all, Late Checkout, absolute banger, slasher glory. I think somebody actually won an award for their scene in that, if I remember correctly.
Whoa.
Just some professional virgin. No, thank you. Yes. As I said before, I knew I had to be good at something, and if dying is that, it confirms a lot of my suspicions.
There you go. Well said.
Well, as a co-writer on that was super exciting. Was this your first time co-writing for something that was going to be a feature?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love to work with people who kind of allow for that collaboration. I started in theater, and in theater, the script is the Bible, and you really can't stray from what's written at all. And a really awesome thing about film is that you can be improvisational, and you can kind of see scene takes you. So there's always moments as an actor where you get to be your character and make decisions for your character. But as far as like formally writing, I think with Josh, it started with he wanted to cast me, and my character's name was Tina, and I was like, I'd rather fucking die. Tina, have you ever met a person before?
Tina.
Fucking not. Tina sounds like she's on an all meth diet trying to lose some tooth weight.
I was going to say, I know a Tina. That's a little private joke for.
He could use some meth.
Yeah.
So it just started with like small little tweaks like that. Like, hey, if I'm going to play this character, and then we really started collaborating on what it means to make a horror movie and what you can do within the genre. And especially when you're kind of like, we didn't really want to over explain it. Like, I think that's why I love movies like Black Christmas, where it's just like, let's really get into the horror of a real life situation of people being brutally fucking murdered. And we'll make likable characters, and we'll make people who are, you know, kind of cannon fodder that you're like, oh yeah, like that guy should get murdered. I'm all for that. Makes you like question your own in that way. So yeah, it was like an easy collaboration that happened very naturally, and then we ended up kind of turning the script on its head, and I added a bunch of like crazy feminist mumbo jumbo and
how dare you?
Let me ask you this.
World references.
So let me ask you this. Did you write the campfire scene?
Oh yeah.
We could tell.
Yeah.
It was fucking hilarious, and it was so on point because you took a couple shots at yourself too. And I was like, okay.
Oh god, she's self-aware.
Thing in horror is when we pretend that women don't like each other, or that like female friendships are all like predicated on this like secret jealousy. And I find that that's just like I could meet a woman and she'd be like, oh yeah, I'd die for you. You're cute and I like your shoes and we're in the bathroom together. So like, yeah, that makes sense. So it was really important to me to like make interesting dynamics between all of the characters within that, and then kind of play with like, what does it mean to be a dude who's friends with other dudes and friends with dudes of different ages who have different goals in life. And
we can't hug each other because our hearts might touch.
And that is gay. not the heteronormativity coming in.
Heteronormativity is always the real slasher. That's
Market.
Holy shit, what a line.
It's a nightmare on
Can we make that into a t-shirt? Are you passing that along to us? Can we use that? Hell yes.
We'll put you on the shirt. We'll use one of the awesome art prints that they had for y'all's credits for late checkout, because those things were sick as fuck.
Yeah, we I think that those were actually done by a person who was in our like movie within a movie, which is also a thing that I like love to do. I love to do the movie within a movie. And that's why I love the horror community, is like people will come along for those weird self-aware moments where we're like, oh, this is fucking ridiculous and true. Let's just get into it.
What fourth wall?
I would absolutely watch Demoni Inferno.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that's gonna, I mean, it's already doing really well at the festival circuit, obviously. I mean,
I was gonna say, I fucking love late checkout.
Yeah,
like,
we're big fans of that in this household, and it's an absolute banger. I cannot wait for more people to be able to see it. I know Josh is talking about distribution here soon, so I know that's its own fucking, when he knows, everybody will know.
Sooner than you think. Sooner than the turtles, certainly.
Yes. 2 days, motherfuckers. Let's go.
I'm trying to get that zebra hotline.
That's Patreon.
That's Patreon.
Yeah.
So anyways, again, great cast and crew. Can't wait for everybody to see that. I actually didn't know that you were a part of, and I should have, because I know the Atlanta scene is, especially horror specifically, is this very tight-knit group of like really awesome people that have been working together for quite some time. So tell us a little bit about, or what you can, for House Among the Trees.
House Among the Trees, written by Blair Hoyle and directed by Tyler Horner from Eye for Eye Productions. Blair is, I don't want to say an evil genius, because he's actually like a really swell guy, but he's also a sick fuck. And he just writes really intriguing, terrifying, horrible, depressing, but like uplifting screenplays. And I've always wanted to work, like he did like Deer. He's just like, he's a lot of fun. And he also is someone who really appreciates the horror community for what it is and meets it where it's at. And I've always wanted to work with him because of his writing. And not only was he writing this, but he's also like starring in it. We have like Wes Robinson from who was in
My whole heart. Phantom Fun World, Watchdog, fucking everything. Yeah.
He's awesome. Elsie Holt, who was in Late Checkout as well. I really love Elsie. Elsie's awesome to work with. So I just wanted to get involved somehow. It's like a smaller role in that, but it is this like, I guess I would say like a hillbilly noir mystery. It's kind of like oh god, like what is the Kiss movie?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
No, not Kiss. Kiss. I mean the actual Kiss movie. Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Detroit Rock City, baby.
It's kind of like Detroit Rock City meets Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, actually. Like Kiss and Kiss kind of meet up and get really horrifying and gory, and I'm super excited for everyone to see that because it's like there's no way to explain it because it's just not what you expect.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Big fan of Tyler too. I mean, that dude's got great cinematography skills, like out of this world. Also, starting next year, you have a very particular role with one of our dad, Mr. Daddy Mark Cantu.
Yes.
In his new film Grind.
Yes, I'm so excited about Grind. Mark is phenomenal, and Mark is another guy who like, you know, he gave me a lead and was like, you know, you're the lead, you are her, so whatever you need to do in this, do it, rewrite, send me things. So it's been a really collaborative process, and it's another one that has movies within movies.
Yeah,
that tracks.
Playing on Grindhouse. So there's a lot of like cheese and funniness, and also this really deep current that I love playing on as an actor, having something to really latch on to. Again, not one that I can really say much about because it's just not what you would expect. But it's kind of like a Grindhouse Cthulhu sexy nightmare, if that's intriguing to anyone.
Holy shit. I love
it. That's just tentacle porn,
tentacles,
baby.
Yeah.
No, very, very exciting. Very exciting. I
we fucking really love Mark. I don't even know that we need to like continue to reinforce how much we fucking love Mark.
I will do it till the day that I die. I love this man so much, and I'm really, really excited to see you being a part of one of his films.
Yeah.
I love, like, as soon as I saw the werewolf from Wolf Hollow, I was immediately like, what the fuck are they doing in Pittsburgh? Because that's it's insane. The quality of the werewolf was insane. Wolf Hollow was so much fun and had all of the elements. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it will turn you gay.
Hey, look, Mom, I'm gay now.
Like, you know, that's a risk we all run anytime we leave the house. But Wolf Hollow, Wolf Hollow brings it to you live. I'm really excited to work with him because of like the quality that comes into his productions. And Felissa Rose is a producer on this, and Felissa is just someone who I wholeheartedly believe in. She's a great performer and just has a really good pure energy that you want to get behind the things that she's doing, whether it's like concealing a penis or brutally murdering people. You know, whatever it is that Felissa does, she does it as a lovely human. So I'm always on board with her. She bought me flowers once and like etched that into my gravestone.
I would dehydrate them and put them up in like little fucking crevices around my house. Just so, like every time I turn around, I'm a little happier.
Roses.
God damn it.
Got there.
cries and mommy issues and a love of horror. Just any.
And she is absolutely slaying the indie scene right now. Like, we won't get too much into that, but like production and acting and like making a lot of these movies happen has just been, and you know, Daniel Kearney as well, you know, them working together has been absolutely incredible to watch. You know, we love Daniel on the show.
I was going to say just one more like note about Felissa. Anytime somebody talks about Felissa Rose on our podcast, they continue to build on the legend that is Felissa Rose.
Yeah. Well, she's I just feel like people don't really understand. If you've only ever seen her like on screen or on what's I'm so sorry, my brain is completely not working.
Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp. Thank
Yeah.
you. If you've only ever seen her on screen in Sleepaway Camp, you need to change that like immediately, because she really is one of the most dynamic performers I think I've ever had the pleasure of working with. She like fills up the room, and whether she's just filling up the room with like her Felissa je ne sais quoi, which is this like beautiful welcoming energy, but then she starts acting and it's really powerful. She's a very powerful performer.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the last things we'll get into real quick is there is a movie that people can watch right now on Tubi with you in it called Lorette Party, which is a lot of fun. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's super fun. It has Ginger Lynn, and if you know, you know. And she's an incredible like 80s hero, porn hero. But she brings it so well in this role. And we have Drew Marvick, who's obviously like another indie darling, and everything he touches turns to gold. And Andrew Brown, who's an actor out in LA, who everything he does is fucking phenomenal. And we all come together to make this like super fun, campy slasher in the woods, gay panic murder fest. The amount of like gallons of blood that we went through on that, at one point they were just like throwing gallons of blood on me. I feel like I don't even think that made it in. We're just like, fuck it, we'll do it live. A lot of fun. Love ladies and pretty ladies and or murder, and any combination of those things. Check it out. Maybe not if murder. If it's murder, go to a police station, please.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, guys, make sure you check out Lorette on Tubi. Again, keep your ears open for Late Checkout, House Among the Trees, and obviously we will always be posting about all of what these things are doing, but also Grind. Super excited for that as well. And you're racking up another lead role.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm really happy. And like you said, I mean, Mark is just like the person to follow into war. So
yeah,
there's a good
our king,
my captain.
He's just fucking rowing.
Holy shit! My watch is telling me my heart rate's increasing.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Give it up for Molly one more time. Thank you so much for being on our Christmas special this year.
Thank you for having me. What a treat you guys are. Put a little
just a little bow. It's me, Bowie. I've got like a lightning bolt in my eye. And if you guys can't get quite enough of Molly, make sure you check out our Patreon at $3 a month and see our exclusive interview. It'll be cool. So thank you guys for joining us once again. Merry Christmas to all, and laugh with the creatures that go bump in the night.